What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Off the Couch Boxing. I am, of course, your host, Reckless Rexx Ruger. That, of course, is my sidekick, the Alexis Arguello puppet, watching my back. Don't think for a minute he's not on the clock. Don't get out of line. Trust me on that. We're back with another banger. Y'all know what we do here. The most amazing and real boxing conversations anywhere on planet Earth with legends, luminaries, world champions, and fighters on the rise. Coming here to chop it up with you, boy. Yours truly, Reckless Rexx Ruger. We got another great episode. I'm excited. You're excited. We're excited. My boxing brethren, we about to do it again. And listen, going to be another great episode. Before my guest gets in here, let me go into promotion mode. The pimp hand is feeling strong. So let me go into my obligatory promotional spiel, if you will. Make sure to tap into Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. The Facebook page is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. And of course, if you're watching right now, like, subscribe, and smash that notification bell to stay tapped in. This is where you really need to be, folks. This is where it all goes down. Listen, in my opinion, the best boxing conversations anywhere. We got whatever you're looking for. Go check out the past episodes. We are north of 290. And my guest is here right now, so we're about to get into it. So here we go, folks. Let's get down to business with another great episode. There he is. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Good to have you on here, man. I appreciate you doing this, man. Thank you.
No, yeah, of course.
And first of all, man, I got to say, man, I love the new intro song, man.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, it's a good one.
Listen, you got to have a good walkout song, right?
Yeah, you do. You absolutely do.
People don't know how important it is. Shout out the guy who hooked you up with that great song.
It's Mike Danatali.
Now, how do you link up with him? Is he just is he a friend in life?
So he reached out to me on Instagram and asked me if he could do a song for me. And then next thing you know, like a couple months later, he hit me back up and was like, oh, like I have like some of the song done, sent it over to me, sent like what it was going to start off with and everything. And then I was like, yeah, it sounds great. And then he changed a couple things in it and then wrote the whole thing out, recorded it, sent it over to me a couple weeks ago, and I approved it. Yeah.
Are you a musician by nature yourself, or are you just kind of giving him carte blanche to kind of do what he wants?
No, I just let him do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can't really critique that if you're not coming from a musical place. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm not a musician either. Some guy gives me a song, man. If it sounds reasonably good to me, I'm going to be like, yeah, I'm not going to tweak this or fuck with this.
Yeah.
I mean, what do I know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, so it is absolutely great, man. And so you will walk out to this song. This will be like your regular walkout song.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the regular walkout song for every fight now.
Nice, yep. Nice. Okay. So to take me back a little bit in your journey, man, how did your boxing journey start? When did you get a pair of boxing gloves on?
I got a pair of boxing gloves on. I was about 10 or 11 years old. I actually met a kid in my neighborhood who I was good friends with, was going to the boxing gym in Hyde Park. It was called Gentleman's Gym. And me and my brother started going over there. My dad and the kid that I started going with, his uncle, we'd all go together every morning on like Saturday morning. And then it turned into like we were going every day because one day a week just doesn't cut it. So we're going every day. And then I kind of just quit all the other sports because it was team sports and I wasn't really into that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And I just dedicated my entire life really to boxing.
Yeah, once you get the bug, man, I've heard other guys in the podcast say that as well, that like once they get bit by the boxing bug, it's like the team sports just kind of falls flat for them because now you're in this sport and you're just like, I got nobody else I don't have to rely on anybody else. It's just me, you know?
Yep.
So what were the other sports that you were pursuing though before boxing?
So I was playing baseball, basketball, but I mean, I'd say mainly baseball, really. I was like fully dedicated to baseball at the time. I loved baseball. I still love baseball today. I'll watch it on TV and stuff. Everybody hates watching it with me, but I could sit there and watch it.
I'm the same way. I could sit down and watch a doubleheader and not move.
Yeah, seriously. I loved it, but then it turned into like a good guy league. Like I'm playing with guys and they're like, oh, we got to pitch these other two guys today because they haven't gotten a pitch. I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
I want to win. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I go home every day and practice before I do my homework, like pitching and like everything.
Yeah.
And like, these kids suck. Like, we're losing. Like, what are we doing? Like, and
Right.
then I was just like, fuck this. Like, I'm done.
And so did boxing in some way, was there a big learning curve or did it kind of come naturally, man? Like, because obviously a backstory that I hear a lot, and I've done almost 300 of these episodes, a lot of guys getting into fights in school, stuff like that, man. Was that your backstory? Did having hands kind of come natural?
Um, yeah, my dad was like hard on me as a kid. Like, he wanted to make sure I could defend myself and stuff. So before we even went to a boxing gym, I was like 7 or 8 years old. I wouldn't say it was boxing. It was just like learning how to throw punches in the backyard. We hung a heavy bag from like the swing set. My dad would be out there like
Yeah.
2 or 3 times a week, like teaching me how to like defend myself. And then it turned into we were watching fights like on Friday and Saturday nights. And I'm like, I could do this. Like in my head, like I'm like 9 years
Right.
old. Like I want to do that. I could do that. Like I know I could. And then it just turned into one day we went to a gym and I was like, I actually had my first, we were in the gym for like consistently 2 or 3 weeks. So not long at all. I think it was like the third weekend I did like a smoker, which is like not like a sanctioned fight or anything, but it was a smoker
Right.
against a kid that was boxing for like 3 years already. And I beat the fucking piss out of this kid.
Yeah.
And
I
it didn't
felt
even
good.
go 3 rounds. It went 2 rounds. And then after I got out of the ring and I was like hooked. I was like, this is what I want to do. Like,
Yeah.
and then I started getting amateur fights and stuff. And I lost my first like 40 fights. But I knew like if I'd stay in the gym, like I kept like working because I was seeing guys fall off. Like, and then it just all came together and I started just killing dudes. I was going to tournaments, knocking guys out, which usually isn't a big thing in the amateurs, but I was going to national tournaments and I got guys like looking over my shoulder to see what I'm going to weigh in at because they were scared to like fight me. I'm like, holy shit, this is real life now. Like, I'm living my dream. Like, and fucking started winning all the national tournaments. Then I went to the Olympic trials. I placed third, which I thought I won the whole thing, but
Yeah.
they have their favorites. Then I just said, screw it. Like, let's go pro. Like, I don't want to hang around. Like, everyone always said I had a pro style anyways. So I turned pro, had my first pro fight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, which was fucking awesome. And then COVID happened 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So,
Wah wah.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the only good thing during COVID I had was that all the guys that I was training with at the gym we were going to, all the gyms closed, but we ended up getting a bunch of heavy bags. We hung them behind the fighter's house in the garage out back, no one used. And we were like, fuck it. We're supposed to be not near each other and all this stuff, but as long as we're with each other every single day, then we're really
Yeah.
not going around at everybody. So
Right.
2, 3 times a day, we're over there just working out, working out, working out. And then when everything started opening back up and they had fights, we're getting in there and it's like we're killing guys. Like I had
Sure.
I had like 13 fights that following year, like back to back, like once a month. Like, and then there was one point where I had 2 fights in 1 month.
Go back to when you were talking about when you were losing the amateur fights, man. What do you think changed? What do you think clicked, man? You're losing amateur fights, and then suddenly, man, you find this other gear, and the tides turn.
Um,
Can you put a finger on what you think it was?
Consistency,
Yeah.
believe it or not. Yeah, just even if when I was losing, after I'd lose a fight that Saturday, take Sunday off, Monday, back to the gym.
Because I think that
Training,
would deter a lot
working
of
out.
kids, man. I don't think a lot of young
Yeah,
guys would have that kind of, perseverance.
yeah. Yeah, I think it was just the fact that I knew like I was like it's gonna come along, like, and I was fighting a lot of guys that had like at the time I had like less than 40 fights and I'm fighting guys that are like 80, 90 amateur fights. Like they go to national tournaments and stuff and I wasn't doing all that yet. And I was like, oh, it's gonna come, it's gonna come, it's gonna come. And then next thing you know, like one day I get in there with one of these guys who's like 3 years older than me and I fucking knocked this guy out and I fought him like 2 weekends before and
Yeah.
he had beat me. And I'm like, holy shit, I think it's like this is gonna happen now. And then next thing you know, I'm like check the rankings for like what everyone's ranked in the country, and I was ranked number one at 152. Then I went up to 165. I was ranked at number one at 165 the following year. Then that next year, I was ranked number one at 165, but I had the pound for pound most knockouts in the country.
So do you think some of that losing, man? Do you think maybe some of that like losing was actually well, it almost seems like it was pretty productive almost. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think it
I
was
mean,
more
you know,
learning, really.
it's almost better than just going to these tournaments and just coasting through, man. You know, kind of
Yeah,
baptism by fire, so to speak. You know, a little
yeah,
adversity.
yep. Learned a lot from those fighters I fought. Learned a lot when I'd go back to the gym training, a lot of things I could work on. And mentally too, like learned how to like stay strong. And like, of course, I was getting dropped, put down on my ass, getting back up. And like, I think that all made me mentally tough too. So
Yeah.
like, when the training did get hard, once I went pro and everything, that all carried over. And like, yeah, these workouts are a lot harder than I'd say anybody's pro workouts like before fights, but I've been built for it, like, like over time, like,
Yeah. I think it's good to hear young fighters hear other young fighters, you know, like say that too, though, man. That, you know, it's not the end of the world if you face some adversity, or as you say, get dropped on your ass, or you take a couple of L's. I think in the Floyd Mayweather era, you know, and I've heard other fighters even refer to it as the Mayweather effect. It was almost like, geez, if I don't have an O, I can't even be spoken about as great, you
yeah.
know? I think that's starting to go away again. You know what I mean? Guys are kind of, everyone's competitive. Nobody wants to lose, granted. But I think
But
when
like,
guys take an L now, man, you know, they're
then
not
you take
so,
a look at like Canelo,
yeah,
and Canelo and Terrence Crawford just fought, and
right.
Canelo lost. I
Are
don't
we
look
going
at
to take,
Canelo any
right,
less.
right. Are
Are
we
you
going to look,
shitting me?
yeah,
Like, he's
yeah,
still one of the greatest to ever live. He'll go down in history,
yeah.
Like,
And
and then
stop
you go
looking
back
for
to like,
losses. Yeah,
you
you
go
know,
back to like,
he lost to Floyd and Crawford and Bivol. You know, I mean, for
yeah.
fuck's sake, that's nothing to hang your head about.
And even like that whole thing, I hate when I'm watching fights on TV and they're like, a guy gets dropped or something, and they're like, this is the first time he's been dropped his entire career. I'm like, come on, like,
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck about that. Like,
right,
I'm a fighter. Like, who
right,
cares? All right, great, he got dropped. I
right.
hope the other guy doesn't come out gunning now and forget his defense and everything, because that's when guys get clipped. Like, oh, I just
Sure.
dropped him the first time, like, I just I don't know. Like, go back to when Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, those guys fought. They were dropping each other left and right. They
Left
got
and
back
right.
up,
Yep.
just kept fighting. Like,
Yep.
those are the greatest, I think, middleweights to ever live, really.
I mean, think about a guy like Roberto Duran. He literally surrendered in a fight against Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah,
Are we to think he's any less tough, man? I mean, hands of stone, man. But he said
yeah,
no mas in a fight. You know, I mean,
yeah.
threw in the towel. Now I'm glad you brought up some of these legends, man. You know, when you get into the sport, are there guys that you're watching on TV and kind of wanting to? You know, we have those sports heroes when we get into sports. Were there guys you were looking at that were like larger than life that you wanted to emulate?
Um, I mean, I love like the old school fighters. Like, we used to watch those on TV a lot when I was a kid. My dad would always put on like Marvin Hagler,
Yeah,
Tommy Hearns, all those guys, Roberto Duran, and I just loved watching those guys. Like, it was a different era, of course, 15-round title
yep,
fights and everything, but that was like boxing to me when I was a kid. I was like, holy shit, these guys are going 15 rounds. Like, you look at some of these guys, they're like in the 10th round with their hands down, gas nowadays. I'm like,
yeah,
different breed back then, smaller gloves made out of like rawhide leather,
yeah,
no
yeah.
foam inside of them, just beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah, and you could turn on those fights in the middle on like a Saturday afternoon on like Wide World of Sports. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and see guys like that fighting, man. So like now that you're in the sport, man, for people that haven't seen what you do, man, or who might be like new to your journey, so I'm looking at your box rec, 20-0, 17 knockouts. So on paper, you would look at that and be like, oh, this is a heavy-handed guy, man. You know, for lack of a better term, a knockout artist. But maybe you don't want to be labeled that, though. Is that a fair assessment of what you do? Are there other layers to your game that you'd like people to know and say, hey, don't look at me as one-dimensional. I knock guys out, yeah, but I can do other things.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people think I'm heavy-handed, and in the beginning, or even guys that think that when they see me in person, they're like, "Oh, this guy's really skinny, like hunched over, walking around like a goofy,
Yeah.
curly-haired white kid." And they're like, "Oh, this
Yeah.
kid, like, there's no way he punches hard." And everybody assumes that. Even when we get in there, they're like, "There's no way, there's no way." And then I hit them, even if it's like on the arm or the shoulder, and I can see it in their face. They're like, "Oh shit!" Like,
Yeah. He can
but
crack. Yeah.
it's not just that. Like, every day I'm in the gym and I'm like working on my just basic boxing skills and like mastering all these things. And, you know, like, I'm a good boxer. I have a great jab. I can box. Like, I can go 10 rounds and not get tired and box you and keep going forward, and I can fight in the inside. I can be a small fighter, like when I have to be, you know. And I think a lot of guys forget that. There's been a couple of fights, like I fought Kyrie Gray, and there was a moment in the fight where like I knew I was up like 4 rounds to none, and he tried to come in the inside and fight me in the inside, and I started working him on the inside, and I think he was like, oh, like he was surprised. He didn't expect that, like from a tall guy like me. But I've been fighting guys shorter than me my whole life, and when I was a
Right.
young kid, I was like, how am I going to figure this out? I'm either going to have to fight them long, or I'm going to have to get inside. So I did both, you know.
And so where do you feel like your ceiling is? Like you're currently fighting at middleweight, but where do you feel like your ceiling is? Are you interested in exploring other weight classes? You know what I mean? Are you looking to go down, up? Where do you feel like you'll what weight classes will you eventually hit? What happened? Did I lose you? Oh, there you go. There you go. I can't hear you. I lost your audio. Yeah, I lost your audio. Try talking again. Do I got you? We'll figure it out, folks. You know the motto here: no crying in podcasting. No crying in podcasting. That's what I always say. And I don't do any editing either, man. So I leave all the technical glitches in, man. So watching you figure it out will keep my audience entertained while we figure it out.
Hello?
Mainly because, folks, you know where I stand. Well, there we go. Now
Sorry.
I got you. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. Listen, man, I make full disclosure, and people that have tapped in and subscribed, man, no, I don't do any editing. Too old. I leave everything in for posterity's sake. So all the hiccups, the technical issues, we keep it raw and unfiltered, man. You know, I got no time for it, man. I leave it all in, man. There's no crying in podcasting. You know what I mean? So I was getting at the weight classes that you could potentially see other than middleweight.
I mean, if the money's right, I'd go down to 154. I'm not a true.
Yep.
I don't think I'm fully a true 160-pound fighter yet anyway. Like, I'm not walking around at 185, 190 and, like, having a suck weight like crazy. I'm, like, 175 walking around, and I can cut to 160. That's what I fight at. But, you know, like, if somebody is scared or wants to complain and they don't want to fight me at 160, I'll do a catch weight, or I'll do 154 or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm really looking to explore going up yet, just because I'm physically just not big enough yet for that. But I'm always open to go down. Obviously not too light. I'd say 154 would be my cap, really.
Yeah, because you do got to know your own body and like what your limitations are too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's kind of big too. And so obviously guys get into the sport for various reasons. I always use two examples. Bud Crawford, who seems to really hone in on becoming undisputed. You know what I mean? Hasn't gone through a lot of weight classes, although he's gone through a pretty good amount of them. But he likes in this 4-belt era to become undisputed. It's his goal, it's his mission, and he sets his sights pretty high. Manny Pacquiao, a guy who went through a lot of weight classes, and accomplished a lot at a lot of different stops. For you, man, what goals have you set? What would you like the legacy to be? What would you like to accomplish in the sport?
It's a great question. I've always wanted to win. I just want to get my first world title. That's what I want. I want my first shot at a world title right now. Of course, I haven't fought for any of them yet, so I can't say I want them all or any of that stuff. Most guys are like, I want to win every world title, but being reasonable and knowing myself, I don't feel that I have any limit to who. Like, I don't think I'm a local fighter at all whatsoever, and I'm getting better by the day. So, I mean, I definitely see myself fighting and winning a world title.
And what's the timeline on something like that? Because as I mentioned, you are 20 fights deep. You know, we are seeing guys now. I guess some of it depends on their background and their pedigree, but like I use Keyshawn as an example. You know, his 13th fight, he gets a WBO welterweight title. I know he's got the Olympic pedigree in the background or whatever, but have you and your team discussed the timeline for you? You're 20 fights in, 17 knockouts. It's going very well. Do you project like is 2026 going to be the year that we'll see, Francis Hogan, in that title picture?
We've thrown it around here and there, but I mean, really, we just are looking for whatever the next fight is. That's what we try to set our eyes on and see what's going on and see where the show could be or who I'm going to fight. Because a lot of it's politics too. Like, the promoters got to go back and forth. That's like the shitty thing about boxing nowadays. Politics, I mean, I'm sure it's always been shitty, but like it still is shitty. Like it hasn't gotten any better, I'll tell you. Like, like money and time and all of this stuff is a factor in but I mean, we're just looking for whoever's next, really, is I guess what I could say.
And I think that shows a lot of poise. I think that shows a lot of poise on your part too, man. Like where you are a young fighter, but able to pump the brakes and say, "Hey, everything doesn't have to happen immediately and so fast,"
Yeah, because especially
but you do want it to happen eventually, though, because you don't want to blink and be 35 and have not had your shot either.
Yep. Well, that's like, I know I'm 24. I'll be 25 actually next Wednesday. Yep. I'm 20-0, and like we working right now with my promoter and figuring out when my next fight's going to be. Should be within the coming months. But when I was like 10-0, I was like, let's go fight. That's all I want to do.
Right.
But it gets to a point where it's like, all right, like you can only fight. Like I didn't want to do a 4-round on my first pro fight. I did one 4-rounder. I was like, I'm done doing these. Like I want to go. I just want to go.
Yeah.
But it hits a point where you get in there. Like I got in there against this guy, Isaiah Hart. And I was like only 7 or 8-0 at the time. And he was like 6-1 coming off a huge knockout. He came in way overweight, still took the fight. And like, he made it to the 6th round. And that's kind of when I was like, oh shit, like this is real. Like, cause he hit me like every round in there. And I was like, I could feel that he was physically bigger than me and strong. And I ended up actually knocking him out in the 6th round. I think it was just cause he got a little more tired than I did. But like, that's when I was like, all right, like I gotta like remember like who I am. And I'm only I'm a human being. I'm not a fucking machine. Like people want to be like, I'm a machine.
Right.
You're not a machine. Like, and so I had to like start taking that into accountability. But of course, I always keep in the back of my mind, like I don't want to. My team also knows too. Like we're not going to get to the point where I'm like 30 years old and haven't had any talk or shot at anything, because I am 20-0 now. Like even if I only fight 3 times a year, like all right, I'll be say 27. What am I gonna be like 26-0? Like
right. You're gonna be this prospect. Yeah.
Like it just wouldn't make sense like that. But we'll definitely like take it fight by fight, because like I'm not gonna fight my next fight and then be like, all right, oh, so and so called. Terrence Crawford's going down to 160. You're gonna fight Terrence Crawford for no money. Like that wouldn't be smart. Like.
Right. So talk to me a little bit about your preparation. Are you a guy that I guess it's kind of an antiquated term to say watch tape? I don't know if tape even exists anymore, but are you a guy who watches a lot on your opponents, or do you kind of leave that up to your team?
I usually do it by myself when I'm like here in bed, like chilling by myself, don't have any headaches. I'll look up a couple of their fights, but like keep in the back of my head. I know when people look up me when I fight, people don't realize like I look a lot slower on camera. I don't know why everyone says that, but I think the same thing. And I'm like, I'm not that slow, and I don't do that anymore because we corrected that in training the last month. And I keep that in mind about the guy I'm fighting. I'm like, this guy's in the gym too. Like there's a lot of things he's not going to do when we're in there. The main thing I look at is his posture really, and how he moves around in there, and how he stands and where he is in certain areas of the ring, close distance, far away from you. Like his hands and stuff like that. Because that's usually kind of pretty consistent, I'd say, like as far as I've seen with fights that I've had in the past and stuff. But I mean, I don't watch a ton of tape. I don't watch all of their fights that they've ever had. I would try to watch whatever the last 2 or 3 ones closest to the date was. But other than that, watch those. Then I just go to the gym. We train and work on beating the guy, really.
I know I asked about your overall style, man, but if you could point to one attribute, that's one thing that you do in the ring, maybe even 1 or 2 things, what would you say that your best asset is? Some guys are proud of their jab, their footwork, whatever, man. Like, what would you say is your calling card? Like the thing that you're most proud of that you do?
Finding a home for my left hand, which is my power hand. I got a pretty good jab. I can figure out the distance well, and finding a home for my left hand, either on the head or on a lot of guys, it seems to be on the body. The last 2 fights I've had, I've dropped both of the guys with rear hand of the body, like right on their liver, and no one expects it. Like I fought at Foxwoods, and I looked like I barely even hit the guy, but I just placed it so well that
Yeah.
found a home for it. His legs buckled out on him, you know. So I'd say my left hand.
So much is made about being a southpaw too, man. You know what I mean? Like guys will say, it depends on who you ask, I guess, man. But guys will play it up like it's a big advantage. Do you get in there and feel like, hey, I'm a southpaw? This is an advantage right from the rip if I'm fighting an orthodox fighter.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of guys, if they are going to fight me, I'm sure they're sparring guys that are southpaws and they're
Sure.
trying to work on, and, you know, like they know that I'm going to be a southpaw when I get in there. But I do think it is an advantage because I got my backhand and I can find it to their body very well. So I think it throws them off a little bit, makes them a little scared. Like they have to watch out for that shot because they know I can find that on them, you know?
Yeah. You seem like a pretty for your age, you seem like a pretty calculated, well thought out guy. Have you thought about, and I know you're 24, you've got a lot of fighting in front of you, but have you thought about how long you'd like to do this? Like I've had young fighters on here who say, I don't want to still be getting punched in the face past, 35 or 32 or whatever. Have you thought about how many fights you'd like or an age that you think you'd like to get out of the sport? Or are you just kind of playing it by ear at this point?
I have a lot of like fans, I'd say, ask me this. They're like, oh, when do you think like you'd be done boxing? Like if it was perfect to what you wanted.
Right.
And I always say 30, but I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
You know, like I go 2 days now and I don't go to the gym after a fight, even after a fight, and I don't have a fight coming up. And my trainer's like, take the week off.
Right.
I get depressed. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't know. I will have to, obviously, when I know it's my time, which I don't know when it's my time right now,
Right.
but
Sure.
if I do, and when I do know it's my time, I'll have to find another thing to focus my energy and thoughts on. But I mean, I always say 30, but that's in a perfect world. And I don't know. I can't really firmly give you an answer.
I'm sure Bernard Hopkins didn't think he'd still be fighting at 51. So the narrative and the plan can always change too. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and of course, we see a lot of these guys who have been retired.
Yep.
Your Mike Tysons, your Roy Jones. You see these guys, they get the itch, and you know that they're missing that calling in life, and they crawl back in there. Yeah, even Manny Pacquiao, perfect example, just came back, 46 years old, and looked like he still got a lot in the tank.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all on yourself and what you feel and how your training camp goes and how your recovery is and all of that stuff leading
Right.
up to it. Your life outside of the ring even too.
Are the belts important to you, man? Like I know you said you want to be a world champion, man, but some guys are just want to make the best fights possible, man, and have people remember them as like, wow, you know what I mean? Like he fought everybody in his generation, man. A lot of guys just, I think everybody wants to be a world champion in theory, but then of course there's sanctioning fees and, it costs you to be the champion too. Some guys it's not as important to. Some guys will just drop a belt and say, hey, I don't care that if this person's my mandatory. I want to make the best fights.
Yeah.
Is your attitude more making good fights or more focused on like belts and championships?
I'd say more focused on making good fights.
Yeah.
That's what I'd be more focused on. And I am more focused on in reality. But of course, having that one belt that I've always looked forward to since I was like a little kid, like, oh, I want that belt. Like, that little kid still lives inside of me. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool. Like, I want that.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
I did that.
financially being a title holder, I think fucking helps too,
Yeah, definitely does. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
It certainly helps the financial conversation. Now, I'll get back to your career in a minute, but I want to just hit on some things, topical in the boxing world and kind of check your temperature on some things. Jake Paul, where do you stand on what he's done for the sport? Are you a fan, not a fan? Do you like what he's done? He's obviously brought some eyes to the sport. He's a polarizing figure. I mean, where do you stand on what he's brought to the game?
In the beginning, I hated the guy.
Yeah.
I'm sure I know most people hated him. But now looking at him and seeing what he's done for like even the women's boxing and what he's done to grow the fan base and bring in a new set of eyes, kids that watch YouTube and people being ridiculous on YouTube, making stupid videos. he's brought those eyes to boxing now. So it's like, it helps us, you know, it helps me. It helps me
Yep.
and my fan base. And I'd say I like him now. And he obviously has the money to pay the right trainers to train him. So he is a fighter. I wouldn't say he's a great fighter or anything like that, or he's going to be a world champion. Because I've been working my whole life for this, and I can't tell you that I'm going to be like 100% definite world champion, you know, like,
Right.
but I mean, he's a good high level amateur fighter. I'd say that's where I'd hold him at right now. But,
Okay.
yeah, I like him. He brings eyes to the sport, so helps me.
Is it outside the realm of possibility to think, though? You know, like I know you mentioned that you didn't think he was world championship caliber. Do you think he can get there? Do you think we have the potential to see a world title on Jake Paul? I know he's his own promoter. He's got financial backing, his own financial backing. Obviously, you talked about a dirty side. You know, you can work your way into the rankings. He's already been ranked by the fucking WBA at cruiserweight. You know what I mean? So, you know, that rubs some people the wrong way, obviously, man. But do you think we could see a championship belt on him?
I think he has the money to get himself to the fight.
The fight, yeah.
He could get himself there. He could pay, do all of that good stuff to win the fight. I don't know. I don't think he can win it. I just don't. I mean, I just don't see it. Personally, I don't see it. Because like, you could say everybody he's fought is washed up or a bum or whatever, but if somebody's fighting or holds a world title already and he's fighting them, and they're probably not going to be a bum, you know, they're going to be like not right off the couch or 50 or 60 years old or like any of that stuff. They're going to be in the gym training, younger fighter, even if they're on there, like, say he fights Canelo. I'd say Canelo's closer to his way out than he was his prime right now, you know?
Granted. Yep.
Canelo's going to train. He's not going to want to get in there and just win. He's not going to go through the motions. Yeah, he's still a fighter. Like, he's a professional boxer still, you know? He's still, like, the man. So I just don't see that happening. I don't see it. Like, Canelo would fight him and knock him out. And Canelo could get off the couch tomorrow and do it, you know? Like, he's just one of those guys. But, yeah, I don't see it happening.
And by the way, I got to say, being as that the name of my podcast is Off the Couch Boxing, I really appreciate you just saying the words off the couch 2 times in the last statement that you made. So thank you.
There you go.
So we just saw Bud and Canelo, and I mentioned we don't see a lot of super fights anymore, man. We just saw one, man. What were your takeaways from that fight, man? You know, what do you think the next logical step is, subjectively, in your opinion, for both guys?
I think they should both retire.
Yeah.
It's like, what more could Terrence Crawford do in the boxing world? Is he going to go up and fight at 175? You know,
I saw that rub a lot of people the wrong way. Turkey Ellis Sheikh made a comment like, "Can David Benavidez still make 168?" Are we really going to put Bud in there with David Benavidez? I mean, how much more does this guy have to prove? Do we want him to go up to fight Bivol? Where does it end? Do we have him go up to fight Alexander Usyk? I mean, come on. He likes taking on challenges, man. But the guy's 38. Let's not kill the guy.
Yeah, and every name that you just named, I would put my house on it that he probably is not going to win. He's probably going to get stopped.
Right. Size does matter eventually. It didn't matter with Canelo, man, but size will come into play at some point.
They're just physically too big. Like, it's some people like myself in everyday life with an average fighter or whatever you want to call it, size doesn't matter. I'm 6'2", 6'3". I fight at 160. I walk around at 175. I can fight anybody that weighs 275 pounds.
Sure.
But they're not Terrence Crawford, you know?
Right.
They're not Bivol. They're not Alexander Usyk. Like, those guys are killers. Like, at their weight class, those are their weight classes. And David Benavidez is physically too big for Terrence Crawford.
Yeah.
Why do you think Canelo's been ducking him?
And I don't want to hear people in the comment section, you know, comment on this episode and say, yeah, everyone said Canelo was going to be too big too. But Canelo, you know, is a shorter guy, man. And it wasn't a big leap, man, because we do know, man, that Bud walks around 175, 180. Bud had no problem getting himself swelled up, man, and getting where he needed to be.
There was no real height difference.
Right.
Canelo was a little bit slower in there, you could tell. And he was looking for one punch. David Benavidez isn't going to throw one punch.
David Benavidez is
going to be bigger.
David Benavidez is 6'3" and walks around at 220 most of the time.
Yeah. Like, that's why I'm like, why keep taking the punches? You have all the money in the world. You've won all the fights you've needed to win. Even if the itch is still there, like, all right, go to the gym, go for a run, go for
Yeah.
like I don't like do something else.
Yeah.
Just like I don't know what more they could want, you know. Even Canelo, like, what more could he ask for? You know?
Right. His resume is absolutely stacked. No one's going to take away his credentials, man. They're Hall of Famers, first ballot, no problem.
Yep.
The two of them. And now, being as that Bud pulled this off, man, 3-weight undisputed. Some people will question the thinness of his resume, although I saw a staggering stat today and I shared it on my Facebook page. In his 41, or was that his 41st or 42nd professional fight, he never even had a split or a majority decision. They were all knockouts or unanimous. So he never even was in a fight where it was even questionable that he won. You know what I mean? He was dominant his whole career. You know what I mean? But so where does this put him now, man, on the Mount Rushmore? Or I know this generation is big on using the GOAT term. You know what I mean? Like, where is he in the conversation? Has he worked himself onto the Mount Rushmore?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, 3-weight undisputed in the 4-belt era is pretty impressive, man. Is it more impressive than, Floyd fighting 24 world champions? I know a lot of people question Bud's, the thinness, as I said, of his resume. You know what I mean? Does it put him above certain, like, other guys? Does it put him even over like a Manny Pacquiao, who has losses, man, but fought a lot more weight divisions, fought a lot more world champions himself?
Yeah. Answering the Manny Pacquiao thing, definitely not over Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is...
I agree.
Manny Pacquiao is the GOAT.
I listen. I agree too, man. I agree too. They didn't have to
him.
convince me. Yeah, you don't have to convince me, man. I saw them having that debate. Max Kellerman and Ryan Garcia on a talk show the other day, man, and they all had Manny over Floyd, which some people might take umbrage with, but.
Well, that's like Floyd Mayweather beat Canelo, but then I'm looking at Canelo's career now and what he did after he fought Floyd, and I'm like, wow, holy shit! Like,
yeah, yeah.
Even though he lost to like Bivol, he got in there with the guy that physically was 2 human sizes bigger than him. In Bivol, I've seen videos and stuff of Bivol, and like he was like that guy punched harder than like most guys I've ever fought in my life. Like,
yeah,
that's pretty big, like, and he stayed in there and hung in there with them. Like,
if he's not in the Mount Rushmore, we could probably say he's top 10 of all time.
Definitely in the top 10, I'd say.
Yeah,
I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I don't think I have an answer for the Mount Rushmore.
Well, you got to stop and think, man. I mean, if you're going in his era or even in the 2000s, he might make that Mount Rushmore. But of all time, when you're factoring in the Muhammad Ali's and the Sugar Ray Robinsons and the Sugar Ray Leonards of the world, he might not crack since there's only 4 faces on the Mount Rushmore. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he's achieved that. Maybe if he had 15, 20 world champions. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the reason. It's a conundrum why he doesn't have more big names on his career. I know that was one of the things in the build up to the fight that Canelo kept on pointing out to him. I mean, you haven't fought anybody.
Yeah. I said that I think him and Canelo should retire, but like, look at how old Manny Pacquiao kept fighting too.
I know.
Still is, like, you never know. I might be on my way out and Terrence Crawford might still be fighting. Like, you don't know nowadays. You don't know like how they physically feel. It's all up into their discretion and their team's discretion. He might be fighting and he might surpass what Floyd Mayweather has done. You just don't know yet.
Well, Canelo's already made his intentions clear that he is going to continue.
Yeah. He has I saw he had 2 more fights or something.
Yeah.
There would be like a definite. I was reading about something about that the other day that I saw.
Now at this point, he might as well just take. Now at this point, man, if he doesn't want to be questioned about it for the rest of his life, he might as well just say fuck it and take the Benavidez fight.
That would break my heart.
I mean, he's going to be asked about it, though. And I've asked other boxers this, and I just feel like he's going to be at the Hall of Fame years from now, and it's going to be that name in his generation that's going to haunt him, though, man. Win or lose, man, I feel like he should just take it and get it over with and swallow his medicine, win, lose, or draw, because, they're going to shove that in his face for the rest of his life. Well, yeah, you fought everybody, but Benavidez called you out for a good 5-year fucking window and was your mandatory for 2 or 3 of those years, and you just kept sidestepping the guy. You know what I mean? It does kind of look bad, like if your calling card is going to be, I fought everybody in my generation, because they're going to, the journalists in the boxing media are going to throw that in his face forever.
Yeah. They'll never let it go.
They'll never let it go. No.
So, yeah, I guess he should fight him, but
I mean, because I don't know what the logical 2 fights are, man. Like, unless he's going to run it back with Crawford again. I suppose they could make a boatload of money again doing it again, man. But do we really need to see it again? I mean, Crawford did make it look pretty easy.
Yeah. Yeah, Canelo looked very easy for him to figure out.
Yeah, you could see the frustration. It was evident. There was evident in certain points of the fight where even Canelo had that look like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this guy, you know?
Yeah. I will say that I've been seeing a video. It's just constantly keeps coming up in my feeds on Facebook and Instagram. And it's like Terrence Crawford hitting Canelo. And everyone's like, wow, he nailed him. And you could tell Canelo like didn't know what to do after that. I'm like, no, Canelo rolled with that punch. Like, because I'm a boxer and I can tell that's one of Canelo's things. He can roll with shots very well, like Marvin Hagler could do and Roberto Duran. Like, if they knew a shot was coming, they know how to roll with it. Like stuff you learn in the gym, you know, like you practice. And I'm like, that didn't hit him that clean. But sure, whatever you boxing fans want to say.
But there were points in time, man, where people said that Crawford would run all night and he wouldn't stay in the pocket and mix it up, though. And he did do that several times throughout the fight. He did. You know, I don't know that either guy was, you know, at any point in time in the fight fucking, you know, classically hurt at all or whatever. It didn't look like anybody was hurt or wobbled at all at any time, man. But, I mean, Canelo's got that legendary chin, so one of the most legendary.
Oh, yeah. Him and Triple G, man.
Yeah, he's been in there with some huge punchers. And even Crawford, though, man. I mean, he's been on the stanky leg a couple times, been in a couple of fights, but he's never really been in any danger.
Yeah.
Gamboa had him rocked a little bit. And, you know, I think there's a couple times, man, like where I think Mean Machine had him where a glove was questionably near the canvas or whatever. But I don't think Crawford's really been in no danger of getting stopped.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think he's really even lost a lot of rounds in his career. It doesn't look like.
Now I'm going to have to go check.
I mean, not to be that dominant, because I just put the thing up on my Facebook page, and I found it remarkable, man, that they've all been unanimous decisions, TKOs, or knockouts. There's been no split decisions, no majority decisions, nothing like that. He's always been the clear-cut winner in all of his fights, which that's pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, no, that is impressive.
You know, to not have a split decision or a majority or a draw or, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you know, there was no fight where you're really at the end, the scores are being announced. And you do see that. You know what I mean? I was going to ask you about that, man. As a young fighter yourself, you haven't had to deal with it a lot on the pro level because you've knocked out most of your opponents. But have you had those moments, and it can affect a young fighter, it can affect your, you know, your future financial earnings, you know, the potential to land big fights. Have you had any of those fights where the scorecards are being read and you're kind of like, oh shit, I hope I don't get fucked here. Maybe did I leave this too close? Is this not going to go my way? Have you had those moments? And how do you deal with them as a young fighter?
I mean, I wouldn't say as a pro, no. Definitely not as a pro. But in the amateurs, I definitely saw it a couple times. Like, I fought a good example. I fought Fernando Vargas Jr. in the Nationals. It was like the last national tournament I went to, and he had gone to like that like age group there. Like we kind of all turned pro at the same time after that.
Yep.
But they're like reading off the scorecards, and they were like 2 of them were like really close, and I'm like, holy shit, I might get fucked right now. Like I know I just beat this kid. Like, and then they were like, oh, like split decision win. I'm like, fuck. And then they're like, out of the blue corner, France Hogan. I'm like, let's fucking go. But it was a little like, I was like, fuck, I can't lose to this kid. Like, I don't give a shit who his dad is.
No, that's why I was so happy on the other card, because I'm a big Callum Walsh fan too. I was happy that he won too. Very happy.
So he called me out when they came to Boston, and we fought at Agganis Arena. He was the main event. I was the co-main event. And he called me out. And nothing came of it.
Nothing came of it, huh? And that would be an interesting battle. A couple of Irish boys.
Yeah. I never heard anything else after that. No one reached out. No one called. Nothing.
So you think it's because he's just in your town, maybe? Just a little bit of clout? Hey, who's the guy in this town to call out, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I'm here. Whose name can I yell out?
I wouldn't say I pressed him or anything like that. But when we were at weigh-in, I could tell, like, that look and demeanor and everything he has, like, that's not him. And like I could tell I could like get in his head, like kind of made like a couple of stupid jokes to him, and he was like kind of his face got red and he was like, oh, like didn't know if he should laugh or not. And I'm like, this kid like isn't like really about what he's like preaches, you know, like I'm King Callum Walsh. I'm like
right.
I tell people I'm Frank the Tank, and I'll stick to it to the day I die. Like I'll be 90 years old. I'll be like, what are you gonna do? Like, that's just me. Like, but
so you were saying here on my podcast, though, that would be a fight that you would like, though.
Yeah, I'd definitely fight him. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Because obviously he's on a good little wave right now, man. I mean, coming off a win on an undercard like that or whatever, man.
Yep.
You know, what I mean, he's obviously got the backing of Dana White. You know, what I mean, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I just had this conversation with someone on another podcast, who's who's big in the MMA world. You know, what I mean, talks about the UFC on his own podcast quite a bit, man, and doesn't always have the best things to say about the business practices of Dana White. And I think that's been pretty publicized. UFC fighters, have been bitching about the pay they get over there. I don't know, man. Us as the boxing community are often protective of our sport. I know there's a lot of people that were leery even about seeing Turkey al-Sheikh and Saudi Arabia become big players in the sport. I'm not so sure now that Dana White has thrown his hat into the boxing world, how happy the boxing world really is to have him here,
Yeah.
I guess that remains to be seen. I mean, he's obviously, was under a lot of scrutiny, for how he treated his fighters in the UFC.
Yeah.
I don't think boxing is unfamiliar with obviously swindling, promoters. Obviously, we've always heard stuff about the Bob Arums and the Don Kings of the world. You mentioned it earlier. It was the dirty side of the sport, obviously.
Yeah, there definitely is. I think it's a good thing for him. I mean, if you think about it, in reality, he would not be where he's at right now.
Sure.
Without him, with the money behind him and the name and all that stuff of Dana White. Like, I don't think he'd be where he's at. I mean, people can argue me with that and say, oh, well, he is that good and all this stuff. But, like, I believe I know for a fact I'm that good, but I don't have somebody with money like that behind me to, like, bring me and put me on cards like that and, like, do all that shit for me. Like,
that's the difference.
People forget that stuff. Like, there's money involved and stuff. And, like, yeah, you can be the best fighter in the world, but if you don't have, like, the right backing, not saying I don't have the right backing, but, like, I don't have millions of dollars behind me. I don't have a name out there that's, like, hot commodity. Like, it's just
right. And it does matter. It does matter, man. But that's why in his 13th fight, a guy like Keyshawn is fighting for the title. He's got an Olympic pedgree. He's got backing behind him. You know what I mean? Like, he's got a kind of a groundswell behind him or whatever, man. But it's interesting, though, because, as much as and maybe I misspoke a little bit. I wasn't really saying I'm a big Callum Walsh fan in terms of following his career. Just in that particular fight, I really wanted to see him win because I thought the Vargases were just in the promotion, the buildup were like a bit over the top, man, with how confident they were. And I feel like out of the Vargases that Fernando, as opposed to Emiliano and Amato, I just feel like the other two brothers, have been at it a little bit longer. They have a little more right to brag. I think Fernando came to the sport the latest out of all of them. And I just kind of thought, I don't know where all this confidence has come from. But in his defense, he did hang around the whole fight, though. And Callum did not look super impressive either.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way.
I mean, dominant. I certainly gave Callum all the rounds, and I agree with the scorecards, though, man. He did kind of shut him out, but there was no point in time like where I really thought, wow, he's really putting it on Vargas,
Yeah. I do think Vargas is a little too confident. Everybody should be confident if you get in there to fight somebody, but I felt the same way when I fought him in the amateurs. I'm like, who does this kid think he is? We come out to, like, touch gloves. He, like, sticks his tongue out. He's like, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. In my head, I'm like, at the time, I wasn't a nobody. Like, I wasn't just some random kid from Weymouth, Massachusetts. Like, I'm like, this motherfucker knows who I am. Like, he knows, like, I'm number one. I'm the top seed in this weight class right now. Like, in my head, I'm like, you think you're gonna press me? I'm gonna fuck you up. Like, and I came out, and that's what I did. I remember in the first round, he came out like sticking his tongue out with his hand down, and he tried to do that swagger shit, and I just walked right fucking through him. And after the first round, I think he was like, he came out, didn't stick his tongue out the second round. He, like, looked at me like, uh-oh, like, I have a fight. Like, I have to fight right now.
It got
all
real.
That swagger shit went out the window. Then in the third round, I dropped him, put him on his ass, and I looked at him, and I looked at his dad, and I go, you're next. Like, just because in the moment, I'm like.
You're in the moment, sure.
I'm like, I just fucking dropped this kid. I looked at his dad. We're in his corner that I just dropped him, and I'm like, you're fucking next. And I walk away. His dad's screaming. He's, like, looking at me like, and I, like, stuck my tongue out at him like he did to me in the beginning of the fight. And then after the fight, of course, like, I'm like, oh, good fight. Didn't say anything to me. Horrible sportsmanship. So when him and Cullum were fighting, even though Cullum did call me out and all that stuff, I'm like, oh, I fucking hope this kid loses. Like, just because, like, there's no need to act that way when you get in there. Like,
and some of it might be, as you mentioned earlier, man, coattail riding him because of who his father is as well. And
honestly, I don't think he's the better brother out of all the three of them.
Definitely not. No.
I do not think so at all. I think the young, what is it?
Emiliano, I think, is the best.
Emiliano.
Yeah.
He is the best one out of them, I think, too.
And then maybe Amato and then Fernando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, with credit to the Vargas clan, man, he got all his boys into fighting, man. But like I said, I think Fernando came to the party like the latest. I mean, I think he was like 16 or 17, man. So, I mean, he had a little bit of catching up to do or whatever, which is all the more reason to question and scratch your head as to where's all this confidence coming from, man. You're kind of late to the game, man. I mean, like, yeah, you picked it up. It's in your genealogy. I mean, you come from a boxing family or whatever, man. So maybe a part of it does come natural or watching your dad do it for all these years, man. And he's instilled that confidence in you, man. But your own physical skill set still has to, serve you in that ring, Yeah. And I mean, you're dealing there with guys like, like a guy like Callum has been doing this since he was 6 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fighting God knows where in Ireland against God knows who. He probably a young guy fighting grown men, you know what I mean, over there, Who the hell knows what he's seen and what he's been through,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking after the fight too. Like I had said to like my dad, my brother, I'm like, he comes out like almost like flaunting like I'm Fernando Vargas.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I've been taking fucking beatings my whole life, like grinding in here.
Yeah.
I don't have money at home like you do. I fucking live on food stamps. Like
right.
Like this is all I got. Like I'm coming to beat you, motherfucker. Like
yeah.
And like I had the skill, like I had skills at the time too. Like I was in the gym, like I said, working hard, but I had heart too. Like that's what got me a lot of my wins too. Cause there was moments where like I was outskilled by guys still, even with all the experience I was having. And I'm like dug down. I remember I was at the Nationals and the Eastern qualifiers, the first time I went to the Eastern qualifiers. And it was the last fight I fought, and it was the fifth day. It was in the finals. And I fought this kid from Florida, and we went fucking toe to toe, like all 3 minutes the first round, all 3 minutes of the second round, throwing bombs at each other, steam.
Yeah.
My fucking arm started gassing out the third round. I'm sitting there on the stool, and I'm like, I look down, and I'm like, I didn't do all this for nothing. Like, I'm thinking like, that's when you like got to tap into something. Like you got to like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to someone because you can't teach it, like it's hard to like tell someone what you're feeling. But I remember like just telling myself and like believing in my head, I was like, this is it right here. Like, am I going to let this motherfucker beat me? Like, get up.
Right.
And I'm looking at him and he's looking at me and he kind of grinned and I grinned and I'm like, let's see who's got more in the tank. Like, I guess like is what it came down to. And I ended up getting the W. But like those fights, like, and stuff like that in life, like what has got me to where I'm at, like.
Yeah, they're watershed
moments. The boxing and the losing, like,
moment. Yeah,
not just like the losing, but like I'm losing. I go back to the corner and I'm thinking in my head like I'm fucking losing. Like I gotta come alive right now. Like like something happens. Like I've been dropped in fights in the amateurs and everyone thinks I'm losing. And I've lost the first and second round, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Am I going to go out there and lose this round? Like, this is it. Am I going to go home and go back to the gym and, I lost another fight. I guess I'm going to train, like I've been doing. And I'm like, fuck that. Get up off the stool, go out there. And I smoke somebody. And I'm like standing in the center of the ring. And I'm like, I confidently too. I'm like, I just fucking did that because like hard work and I have heart. Like, people can say whatever they want. Like, oh, like the Rocky movie, it's just a movie and stuff. But like, you got to have heart like that. Like, if you have heart like that, you can beat anybody. You can beat anybody. If you worked hard enough in the gym and you're in shape enough, I don't care who's in front of you. I don't care if it's the Terminator. You can beat them. It doesn't matter. Everybody bleeds.
And now you talked about being in that tournament against Fernando Vargas and him looking at you and you being like the top seed in that weight division. You know what I mean? So, obviously like in that situation, you're kind of the A side, but then you're talking about now being a pro, not always having the big backing of some of these other guys. When it comes down to it and the dust settles, do you like the underdog role or the favorite role more? Do you like when people sleep on you and maybe, count you out?
Yeah, I love when people count me out. I love it because like, that's what I've kind of been my whole life, really. Like, not even in boxing. Like, I was never the tallest kid in school. I was never the best looking kid in school, you could say, and all this stuff. But like, I even remember like when I used to run track because I did that for a while because I even still today I love to run. And I remember kids being like, "Oh, you're just a boxer at the time, like you can't run faster than me and all this shit." And then next thing you know, for 2 weeks I'm fucking training and running every single
Right.
day to like
Yeah.
beat the kid in the mile time. You know how like everybody has to run the mile in school,
Yep.
and I
Yep.
fucking smoke everybody. And I'm like, I can do anything I set my mind to. I'll beat you at whatever you want.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's it. And that says a lot because for people that don't know, man, or who are maybe a little more casual fans of the sport, there is a big percentage of boxing that is mental, maybe even more than physical,
yeah,
significantly more.
yeah, for sure. I think so, anyways.
Yeah.
Um, of course, you got to have some kind of skills. You can't get in there with
Sure.
no skills and
Right.
like, I'm gonna beat this guy, like like. But yeah, I remember like, so me, my dad, my brother, we took the train down to Washington D.C. The guy that was supposed to fight my brother pulled out, so it was just me waiting in line at the scale. I'm looking at everybody. Everybody kind of not saying like I was judging books by its cover, but like when you're a fighter around other fighters, you can kind of like figure out like who's who and who's like the big dog, like who's the
Right.
big dog here.
There's a
Like,
vibe. There's a vibe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there definitely is. And I'm looking at everybody and I'm just like none of these guys are big dogs. Like, and I'm like laughing with my brother. And funny enough, they're like, "Oh, your guy's not even here yet." I'm like, "Fucking motherfucker." Then he
Yeah.
walks in and he's like, "Where's Francis Hogan?" I'm like, "Oh man." Like, and we fought, and in the first round I clipped this kid with a left hand. He fell like Apollo Creed fought in Rocky when
Yeah.
he was dead. Fell right on his face, and it was obviously he's from Washington D.C. That was his neighborhood. I remember the crowd going nuts. I hit this kid, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
Like they counted me out. Everyone had their phones out. Everyone's phones went right away when he hit the canvas.
Yeah.
And then I looked at everybody in the crowd and I was kind of in awe. I was like, "Oh shit, like I just knocked him out."
Yeah.
And I remember looking at my dad in the corner with my brother, and my dad was like, "Take your gloves off. Let's get the fuck out of here." But like yeah, that like I liked that I was an underdog. I remember like getting my hands wrapped in the back and everyone's like, like, who you're fighting? Like this guy's the best guy around here and all this stuff. And in my head, like, yeah, I'm a little more nervous now and stuff, but also in my head, I'm like, this isn't anything new I haven't seen, like I've seen
Right.
this. I've been here before. Like I've been the underdog. I've gotten in there and lost and been the underdog and lost. Like I'm
Yeah.
not scared to get in there and lose, but I'm not getting in there to lose. This guy better be one hell of a fighter, like
Yeah. And that's the kind of energy I felt like Callum had, even when he's watching Fernando Vargas, you know what I mean, like coming to the ring or whatever. Like I feel like he had that kind of blasé look, like, all right, come on. I've seen just about everything. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
I think he had that to it like weigh-ins when
yeah.
Cullum was kind of a little bit quiet, but he was kind of like laughing, like
Very
you could see
unaffected
like
by it all. Yeah.
yeah, he's like it's like a barking dog, a big
Yeah.
dog that's barking. It's like, come on, like, or a little
Yeah.
dog that's barking, and the big dog's looking at him like,
Yeah.
really? Like,
Yeah.
you can't do that when we're in there,
Yeah. I think the
Like,
Vargas is needed to psych themselves up, and I think that's all the barking and woofing is something they need to do. And you can just
yeah,
kind of see like Callum is just like a different breed. He doesn't need all that or that rah stuff to get himself gassed up for a fight.
yeah,
I respect that though. You know what I mean? I guess whatever a fighter's got to do to get himself
yep,
geared up or whatever, man. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like now we talk about getting geared up now. You know what I mean? You obviously sound like a very confident young man, but are you into the trash talking part of the game, man? If it happens, will you engage? But is it something that you like, or do you usually kind of take your lead from like, all right, this guy's going to talk trash, I'm going to retort?
I mean, I wouldn't say like I go out looking at trash talk guys or anything, but like if I know someone's been trash talking me and just saying, crap or whatever, we're at a press conference like Kyrie Gray was like talking about he was from the streets and I haven't seen anything he saw and all this stuff. And then I kind of got up there and was like, I was going to be like, oh, I'm just happy and grateful for the opportunity. But then I was also like, I look over at him and he's looking at me like, I'm not shit. And I'm like, what, you think because you've seen the streets? Like I took the microphone. I'm like, just because you're a fuck up doesn't mean I'm scared of you. Like, because you've been
Right.
on the streets, I'm like, what, because I was a good kid and like didn't
Yeah.
get in trouble and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm still training to beat you. None of that
Yeah.
stuff's gonna help you when we get in there. Like, so I
Right.
guess I was trash talking him back, like we were going back and forth, and like it was kind of just by accident, I guess you could say. Like, it
Yeah.
just kind of was like an argument more or less. Like I wasn't looking to trash talk him or make him sound stupid or anything, but I was like just letting him know like all that shit you said doesn't really matter.
So it's not something you need to psych yourself up. It's not how you get your edge.
No,
No.
I get my edge in the gym, training and knowing before I go into a fight, even if there's a point in my life where I'm the underdog. I know because I've been in the situation in the amateurs where I'm like the underdog and I'm like, all right, well, I did everything I needed to do in the gym. So I'm not going to have any complaints if I get in there and lose or any of that stuff. And I don't know, I just get hyped up in the gym with my team, training with my guys. Like I train with some of the best fighters around, Jai Brown, Thomas O'Toole, Renzel Joseph, like we have the best trainer, Mark DeLuca. Like, so I look at these guys and then I look at their teams and I'm like, oh, like, you know, they don't have a team like us. Like,
So talk to me a little bit about that team, man, because you are only as good as the team you put around you. You just, you just threw out your trainer's name, man. Who else is part of the team? Is your dad part of the team?
so me and my dad kind of are on bad terms right now, but
Okay.
so it's my trainer is Mark DeLuca. He was a fighter. Um, he was at the highest level. Um, he's a great trainer. He knows the ins and outs of boxing. He knows what you should be doing, and he connects with us because he was a fighter. So
Yeah.
I think that's what makes him a great trainer too. But we have Matty Ryan. He's also one of the trainers in the gym, and then we have our strength and conditioning outside of the gym right now. At Stadium Performance, want to give them a shout out.
Yep.
But I also have Matty Duggan there. He would help us with our strength and conditioning. And then we got a bunch of fighters, man. Me, Abraham Nova, Jai Brown, Renzel Joseph, and like Tom O'Toole, and I don't know. We just all connect, and it's all on like a fighter. It all comes from being a fighter. Like we all live in completely different worlds. Thomas is from Ireland.
Yep.
Abraham Nova lives in Puerto Rico now, but he's from Albany.
Shout out to
Brown's from
Abraham Nova.
Schenectady.
Shout out to Abraham Nova. I've seen him here at our local casino. Travels with his own mascot.
Yeah, he does. Yep.
Shout out to him, man. That's marketing right there. I got to tip my hat to him with the marketing. I got a picture with him. I think I was just as excited to get a picture with the freaking mascot, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
The guy comes in, man, Hall of Fame weekend, man. I'm watching fights at the Turning Stone Casino, which is close. I'm in upstate New York, so I'm very close to the International Boxing Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So Hall of Fame weekend is obviously a big deal. They always have like a fight card, to kick off the weekend, Friday nights up here at our local casino. All the luminaries are there, all the inductees, like, a lot of legends of the sport. And he was at those fights, man. And lo and behold, the mascot was there with him, man, working the crowd, walking around. Yeah, I'm like, wow, man. I mean, listen, that's the way you market yourself right there.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Impressive.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Not off topic. He was in the boxing world. Do you know Bob Miller, since you live up in upstate New York? You ever hear that name?
Yeah, very familiar.
So he passed away a while back, a couple years ago. But he used to do a lot of the cut men and stuff like that for guys in Canada for pro fights and stuff.
Okay.
He ran a ton of amateur shows. So hats off to him. Greatly appreciated. Rest Bob Miller's soul. He got probably 150 of my amateur fights for me.
Wow. As your cut man?
So he was setting up the amateur shows and stuff
all
around upstate New York and stuff, and calling guys in from different areas in New York, Buffalo, and guys would come up from Philly and all this stuff, and he'd set up these matches, and he just grew a liking because me and my brother were from Boston. He used to call us the Boston Boys.
Yeah.
And the Hogan brothers, and we'd lose. We'd get in there and lose to these guys that were really good. And then the next weekend we were right back up there. And I think he started liking that, like he liked it. We wanted to get better. We wanted to keep fighting. So he grew like a huge liking to us. And I don't know, he just got us a ton of fights, ton of experience, put me in there with some great fighters, and was a huge part of me growing and stepping up through my boxing career.
He can obviously see the dog in you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just figured I'd ask the name because
That does sound very
upstate New York.
familiar, though. Yeah, that does sound very familiar, and especially when you said a cut man.
Yeah. He who's a guy that you'd know? Oh, Adonis Stevenson. He used to do his cuts.
Oh yeah, of
Superman.
course.
He used to
Yeah,
do his cuts.
yeah, yeah.
He used to do a bunch of the guys' cuts up there in upstate New York on a lot of like the top rank cards and stuff like that.
See, for as many legends as I've had in my almost 300 episodes, I really like having guys who are starting out their career because they're always excited to do podcasts. They appreciate a platform. And I love to see where the sport is going, man. You know what I mean? Like where you see these great young guys and you realize that eventually our Buds and our Canelos and our Usyks are going to retire. Where the next legend's going to come from? Who are going to be the ambassadors that are going to carry the sport, take the torch and carry it forward? Boxing's going to be all right. I mean, for the last couple of months, I probably had more young fighters on here than I've had the chance to have legends on here. Although I have had them, but it's great to see these young fighters 8-0, 10-0, 12-0, 20-0 like yourself. You know what I mean? Where you see these young guys and you think, wow, these guys not only have great skill sets, man, you know what I mean, but but they seem to have an understanding, you know what I mean, of the business, of the boxing world, of where their careers are headed and where they're going, you know what I mean, and they seem to be connecting a lot of the dots, in between the years too, you know.
Yeah,
it's nice to see. It's nice to see.
I say the same thing when I see like, because of course I'm young, you know, a lot of guys look at me like still as a kid because most guys are 30, 32,
Right, you're going to be
33.
boneheaded, yeah.
But they it's nice to see like young kids in the gym. Like I'm seeing kids that are like 17, 18 now, like
Yeah.
not much younger than me, but younger than me. And they're getting in there. And I was always the kid that was getting in there with the pros and stuff and like kind of getting in their ass and giving them a little bit of difficulty.
Right.
And I see these kids now coming in and I'm like, oh shit. One of these kids are gonna come in here one day and be like getting in my ass and I'm gonna get fucking pissed, you know?
Yeah,
like, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the sport. It's a good thing for boxing. And it does make me happy when I see it. I'm like, I gotta remind myself, like, oh, like, no, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Like these kids like want to box. They want to be in here. They want to be in here with the best, just like I wanted, you know?
Yeah. And eventually you're going to be that elder statesman who's going to be, they're going to be gleaning wisdom off of you, you know?
Yeah.
You're going to be like, hey, you know what I mean? I want some of what you got to rub off, man. Tell me some shit. School me on some stuff. Tell me about the business. Tell me about what I can do to get better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You talk about those guys you're in the gym with, man. Iron sharpens iron, man. When you're around, other people that are striving for excellence, you're going to get better, you know?
Yeah.
And then what about life after boxing, man? Like, have you thought about your life after boxing? Like, I know we talked about career length, but because you have such a passion for the sport, do you feel like when you actually hang up the gloves and you're done, that you'll keep a foot in the sport? Are you interested in any other parts of the sport? Coaching, training, opening a gym? I know a lot of guys get into the promotion game. You know what I mean? Like, you feel like you'll stay steeped in the boxing world?
I'm sure I'll be doing something in the boxing world. I can't see boxing ever really leaving my life, honestly.
Yeah.
Even if it's like the bare minimum of like every now and then going to a gym or whatnot. Even like I can't even see that. I'm so consistent with working out. I can't even see myself not working out at some point in life, like and being lazy. Like I just don't have the lazy like
Right.
in me, you know. I just
Right.
I think the dog to fight will always be there.
Yeah.
I just gonna have to obviously change my game plan whenever that time is. But you know, like that's actually another thing I should bring up for young fighters. If any of them are watching this,
Yeah.
younger than me, same age, even guys that are a little older than me. I've been around a lot of fighters, like, and I'm young, so I look up to a lot of fighters that are older than me. Well, most fighters, and I've been around them when they're like on their I don't want to call it their downfall, but when they're on their way out, you know, they're like got a couple more fights left in them or like a fight left or whatever it is. And I don't want young kids to think looking and planning like, oh, all right, yeah, like I should figure this out now. Just keep your nose to the grindstone, focus on the next fight in front of you. Cause like you don't want to fall into those bad habits of like, oh, like maybe I won't box anymore. Cause that's when you get hurt. That's when you get in there, you get hurt, or you go in the gym and you hurt yourself in the sparring or working out or whatever it is. You know, you got to keep consistent with that mindset. Because I had to remind myself a couple times before, like, oh, like I'm not retiring. Like just because I'm around someone retiring, like I'm not retiring. I'm still fucking here. I got 10 years, 12 years, 15 years left of this shit, you know?
Right, right.
So I don't want young kids to have that rub off on them. Like, oh, he's retiring, you know? Like, that's sad. Blah, blah, blah. That's sad. Hopefully he figures it out. Now keep your shit together.
Right.
Because you don't want to get steered off the course, you know? Like, you got to remember what you're doing this for.
Right. It's a lifestyle. You can't be half-stepping at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be. And so how active have you been in 2025 so far? How many fights have you had? I had your box rec up a minute ago here.
Is it 2? I don't know. The years always fuck me up. I think it's 2.
Yeah. So do you feel like you'll get another one in before this year's out?
Yeah. I think I'll definitely get another one in before this year's out.
And then what does 2026 look like? Right out of the gate, a new year starts. How active would you like to be if you had your way?
If I had it my way, I'd fight as soon as possible again.
Yeah.
I don't like staying too far away from the gym. Like, even though I haven't had a set fight or any of that, like, again, all the guys that I'm in training camp with, we don't all fight on the same shows. We don't all have the fights around on the same day and stuff, you know? So I'm in the gym with them. I'm training with them, right next to them, staying in shape, staying ready.
Right.
So of course I'm hungry because I get it. I end up seeing them fight and it makes me hungry. I'm like, fuck, I want to get back in there. Like, I want to fight right now. Like, so I mean, I could be fighting at any point in time. I'd like to fight right away.
You're always ready for one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always ready, especially like I'm at that point right now, I think, where like I get a phone call, I'm 20-0, I'm 44 in the world. I don't want to get the phone call and not be ready for a big opportunity that could be coming because someone tries to call me because I'm the underdog and, oh, we'll get this guy, he's 20-0.
Right.
It'll help your ratings and rankings if we can get a dub on this kid. Let's call him 3 or 4 weeks out. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm the wrong guy to
You're
call.
going to be ready. Yeah. You're going to be, you want to be a Josh Padley. I'm ready to step in.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm
All
ready
right,
for my
call
moment.
me 3, 4 weeks out if that's how this has to go, you know?
Yeah.
Of course, no one wants it to go that way. Of course, I want a full training camp and everything, but you know, you never know what's going to happen. It might happen, and I'm going to be the guy to like shock the world, I guess you could say, you know, like.
Is there somebody in your current weight class at 160? I don't have the rankings in front of me, man, but is there somebody that you identify right now as kind of the big fish at that weight? You know, and usually I know off the top of my head who the champions are. Who are you familiar with? Who has belts at 160?
I'm not right now, actually. No.
Who the hell are the big fish at 160? I know they were talking about, geez, if Crawford wanted to pick up another strap at 160 before he punched out, there were people on there playing devil's advocate saying he could drop down and fight Erzlandi Lara, which I don't think would be a cakewalk. I think Bud would win that fight. He could grab another strap there before he rides off into the sunset, and that would be a 6th weight division, not undisputed, but he could grab another belt on his way out. But I don't know that fight really behooves him or would even interest him after coming off a Canelo win. But
yeah, I wouldn't say I have any big names that I'm like trying to chase right now. I mean, I got like, I don't know. I just hate saying names in general.
I'm trying to look. Yeah. I'm trying to look at who the big fish are like right now at middleweight. So it doesn't look like they have like well, we just saw fucking Chris Eubank Jr. is obviously going to lock horns again with Conor Benn. Carlos Adames is at the top. I'm actually trying to look at who's got belts. John Beck has the WBO and the IBF. Carlos Adames has the WBC and Lara has the WBA at 160. Which, quite honestly, are all guys that seem to be getting a little long in the tooth, man. Not to sleep on them or whatever, man.
Yeah, like, no, you're definitely right. I wasn't
for a youth movement in there, maybe.
I think the times are coming.
Yeah,
changing
the guard. Yeah,
exactly. I don't really have any name set. I'll fight anybody.
Yeah, there really is nobody that really kind of jumps out. I mean, we saw like I guess Troy Isley's a younger guy. Ammo Williams, we just saw we saw him win a fight, which he didn't have an easy time in his last fight against Vasquez. Not an easy time at all. But it looks like a lot of guys that are another young guy, man. Are you familiar with Vito Milnicki?
Oh, I would love to fight that kid.
I was gonna say, man, 2 young guys right around the same age, kind of on the same kind of trajectory.
I'd say like him, Connor Coyle.
I've had Connor on the podcast a couple times, actually. That'd be a good fight. Yeah.
Who else is at 160?
Aaron McKenna.
Yeah. It's another one.
Who actually did look pretty good in his last fight. I'm trying to look at guys that are a little on the younger side. Mateo Tapia, I've had him on the podcast. Another good young middle. Yeah, I'm trying to look at guys that are more like not so like not so up there in age. Which doesn't seem to be a lot of them, unfortunately. I mean, that's not to dispute that older guys still aren't doing their thing. Jesus Ramos. I see he's ranked by the WBC.
I think right now we're at a point where like the big guys will within the next 4 or 5 years start retiring and stuff.
They have
and
to
the
be
belts
sure.
will come up. But for
the
time being, someone's got to fight those guys.
Right.
I think this generation right now, these guys my age, 24, 23, 25, even 26, in the 20 pro fight area, we've all kind of been coming up together. We got to fight each other.
You're circling each other. Yeah.
Like we're like a bunch of feeding frenzy sharks that are looking for blood. There's no blood yet. Like we're gonna start fighting each other. Like, and then one of us will have to fight the big dog. Like, that's still there. And then if we win, we win. Then the rest of them can fucking come up and fight, But
and I think that's the attitude that Turkey Al Sheikh seems to like. That seems to be the business model he's trying to push, though. And I do find that a breath of fresh air. Like let's make great cards. Let's make top guys fight top guys.
Yeah.
That's why it was so intriguing on that undercard to see a guy like Fernando Vargas and Callum Walsh fight. You would think those would be guys that might be protected for a couple of more years and not put in against each other. That's why it was nice to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm at the point now where it's like we're not trying to go slow, but I definitely want to fight one of these guys. Vito Malnicki, any of them. Any one of those names that were named. If you're watching, I'm coming for your ass.
Yeah. That's a good caveat right there. That's a yeah. We'll keep it on that note. Now. So before I let you out of here, for people that might want to follow Frank the Tank on his journey, I know everyone's out there on social media somewhere. People want to follow along, get updates on your career when you got fights coming up. Where's the best place to tap in with you? I know everyone's usually on Instagram or here or there.
So I made it easy many years ago because I knew I was going to get to this point.
Yep.
All my social media tags, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitter, any of them, is Francis_Hogan_. Very easy.
Yeah, for fuck's sake, people, come on. We can't make it any easier for you. For God's sake, I mean, he's not going to come to your house and hold your hand and bring you to your computer. For God's sakes, he's made it easy.
Making it easy on you.
Yeah.
All you got to do is click the follow button.
Yeah, not a hard guy to find.
I've made posts about stuff like that on social media before because I'll look at like my Instagram reel and it got like 26,000 views. And then I go look at the likes and I'm like, well, how the fuck did I only get 200 likes? What the hell are we doing here? So I'll post about it. I'll put it on my story and be like, hey, everybody that sees this Instagram story right now, because I can see who's actually viewed it and I'll get like a couple thousand views on it. I'll be like, you better go fucking like my post. And then the likes start raining in because people are like, oh shit. Like, I'm like, why didn't you like it originally? Like, just show some love. Like, and I show love to everybody else.
And admittedly, I was behind the curve a little bit because I am 52 years old. And short story, I'm almost at 300 episodes of this now. The first 160 episodes, I actually co-hosted with my son, who's 30 years old. Long story short, he's got 4 kids, my grandkids. So it got hard for him to continually co-host the episodes. He'd be out in his car on his end, you know what I mean? Like kids knocking at the window. So it got hard. So he kind of peeled back a little bit. He'll still pop in once in a while, like when he can. I kind of kept carrying the torch and kept going on, obviously, man. But we kind of started it together. But we kind of built it like from the ground up, man. But like I said, I do like having like the young fighters on here, though, man. It really does my heart good, man, to see that the sport is in good hands. You know what I mean? But he did chirp in my ear and kind of say like, he's more in that era of technology. I admittedly was neglecting the Instagram, but now I'm seeing that if I take poignant parts of these conversations and I make shorts or reels, it's that kind of society nowadays. If I take poignant parts and things that you said and make a 60-second clip, which I will do when I post the episode up, those will get hits. Those will get like thousands of hits. You know what I mean? Whereas maybe as many people won't sit down and watch your full interview.
They won't watch the whole thing, but people will watch the one thing like, if everybody in my weight class is hearing this, I'm coming for your ass. People be like, oh shit, let's go, let's
Yeah.
like it. Like,
Right.
and they'll go back
Right.
and check a couple other snippets, but they won't watch the whole fucking thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, right. Like I've had Bomac on the podcast a couple times, and I'm trying to set up a third time now that the Canelo fight is already done. But you know, I went back and I looked at the one that I did about 6 months ago, and I thought, you know, it was when the fight was first announced, and I'm like, let me go in and see what he said specifically. And I started putting those up, man. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and it was about 2 nights before the Canelo fight. And people started, oh shit, I want to see what fucking what Bomac said. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like what he's gonna do against Canelo, man, where he goes after the Canelo fight, all this kind of stuff. People are intrigued to hear what Bomac says, you know?
Yeah.
But people won't sit down and watch the whole goddamn interview, though. You can't get people to sit in this attention span era nowadays. It is like a TikTok society. People want short, you know, they want to be spoon-fed 60-second sound bites, unfortunately, you know?
Some people want to just set their phone up in their comfy bed and not have to touch the screen, and TikTok will scroll through this shit for you.
Yep.
It's just it's just the way it goes.
Just follows your algorithm.
And I hate saying it. I'm basically talking about myself.
Sure.
I'll be on the toilet. Next thing you know, I'm on the toilet for an hour. I'm like, fuck. I might as well just take a shower at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're all guilty, I think. I mean, I do 2 podcasts on my channel. I also do one where I talk to a lot of musicians, which turns into a lot of guys in the hard rock and metal world. And it's the same thing, man. You know, that they make these albums and they know that people are just going to go pick out certain tracks that they like. You know what I mean? It's a shame that your deep cuts don't get listened to. You know, it doesn't even make sense anymore. You seeing people put out like singles again or short bodies of work, an EP. Here's 5 or 6 songs. You know, I mean, to go out and make a 60, 70-minute album with 10 or 12 songs or anymore, people just aren't dropping the needle and sitting there listening to an album like that anymore. They're just not. You know what I mean?
People will go on fucking Apple Music or Spotify. They'll listen to they might listen to all the songs once, and then they'll take the ones they like and they'll put them into their own album.
Right.
And it's like,
make your own playlist. Yeah.
So all those other poor songs are just getting kicked to the curb.
Right. Or some deep tracks, man. Yeah. I mean, 8, 9 songs in, man. People will listen to 10 seconds. No, I don't like that. That's just not hitting me. You know what I mean? And it never gets listened to again. You know what I mean? So you're spending all this time, and it's a labor of love. You know, you're in a studio for month after month. You're trying to hone this. No, it doesn't sound right still. No, let's tweak it. No, that guitar just doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? You do all that for what, man? For maybe that's not the track that anybody even gives a shit about, you know?
Yeah.
You know, the one that people can bop their head along to, man. You know what I mean? Might not even be your favorite track on the album, man, but it's the one that resonates with people, and, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
And by the way, I do love the fact that, man, you're a young guy rocking a Motley Crue shirt. Don't think I didn't notice.
Oh, you noticed.
I'm a child of the 80s, man. I'm a child of I've seen Motley Crue 5 times in concert, of course. Yeah, I noticed. Awesome. Believe me. Yeah. Yeah. So you do have a rap walkout song, though, man. So you do like hip-hop, though, but you are a rock guy, too. So what are you, a guy that likes all genres?
I like rock. I like rap. I like classic rock. I like
That's good to keep your taste
heavy metal. I like Deftones. I like country music. I like everything.
That's good to keep your taste eclectic. Don't shut your mind off to any one genre, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your friend did a great job on your walkout song, man, though. He really did, man. So, yeah. And listen, I appreciate how generous you've been with your time, man. It got away from us, man, but I love these kind of conversations, man. It was really, it was really a pleasure having you on, man. And, you know, I'm glad we're in touch now, man. As your career, I tell all the young fighters this, as your career continues to progress and move along, man, and you continue to do big things, keep coming on, man. You always got a platform here, man.
Yeah, definitely. No, absolutely. I appreciate you reaching out. And I apologize too. Fucking, if you knew me, I'm super busy. If I'm not in the gym, I'm at work. I don't watch TV. I have no idea what's on TV. I just go home and go to bed.
Yeah.
If I'm watching something, I usually am watching fights. That's all.
I got a busy day job. I work in healthcare. My day job is a nurse, and then I've got 6 grandkids, man. So our household gets busy sometimes too. You know, so the podcast is more like a side hustle. You know what I mean? I'm over the amount of subscribers where I could monetize it, but that's not really why I do it. You know what I mean? Like I'm more in it just to have these conversations with, you know, musical artists that I love and or boxing, fighters and stuff. You know, those are like my 2 passions, man. So it kind of scratches both itches for me. You know what I mean? Like kind of doing the 2 podcasts or whatever, man. But I listen, I never hold it against anybody. I know people get busy with life. I sometimes will be talking to boxers for months and we're missing each other. And this week ain't a good week. I'll touch base with them at the beginning of the week when I'm doing my scheduling. hey, I'm doing my scheduling for this upcoming week. You got any availability? Nah, I'm going away to camp, or I got a fight next week, or I just had a fight, or I'm working my own day job, or they're working their day job. And it's just like, try me next week. And then that turns into next month, or, hit me back in November. And I'm trying to keep track of all these people in my messenger to hit back. You know what I mean? So it's just correlating and finding the right time or whatever. But when we're done, I'll shoot you my actual number, dude, and just put it in there, man. And, we'll touch base again, man.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But listen, I tell people all the time, I don't just pull names out of a hat and invite fighters on here, man. People have come on my radar and I invite them on for reasons. So I've watched what you do. I love what you do, man. And I'm a fan at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really do appreciate that. Seriously.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on here, man. It was a lot of fun, man. Thanks again, brother.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah. My
Hopefully
pleasure.
all the fans follow me and they follow the career and the journey.
Yeah.
Because it's a good one. I promise.
They will. Oh yeah, I think they will, man. I think you'll resonate with people, man, and I think people will find like a likability about you, and just that, at least the sense that I'm getting, man, just a good blue collar work ethic. You know what I mean? Nose to the grindstone, man. I think those are the kind of people. You made mention of Rocky before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of jokingly, but people get behind those kind of stories, though, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could spot a guy who's got his nose to the grindstone, as you said earlier.
I'm
and
20-0. I got 17 knockouts. I'm a certified welder. I work all kinds of crazy hours.
Yeah.
I try to make my money, but I also love what I do. I love boxing, and I dedicate my life to this. So hopefully anybody that comes on the podcast sees that and realizes like I'm one of them, or can resonate with that. Like you said, like they can step out of their shoes and be like, oh, I know what this kid's like about. Like I want to get behind this guy. Like, that's what it's all about, really. Get my name out there.
Yeah, you resonate with the everyman,
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. We'll definitely talk again for sure, man. It was really a pleasure, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, thanks, brother. Good talking to you, man.
You have a good night.
All right. Yep, you too, brother. Later.
All right, later.
And there he goes, folks. And I know I always say it, yet another great conversation with, I'm starting to sound like a stuck record, another great young future champion and star of this sport who will take that torch and carry it and keep progressing the sport that we all love so much. It's why we're here, my boxing brethren. The sport, as I say all the time, is in tremendous hands. Thank God we've got these great young fighters like Frank the Tank, Francis Hogan, middleweight, 20-0, 17 knockouts, man. Doing the thing and doing it the right way, man. And that's what I love to see, man. And there it is, folks. Another great episode in the books. And I know I've said it a bunch of times, man, and I'm not trying to blow smoke, but another episode that will crack my the upper echelon for me, man. Those are the conversations that I love. That resonated with me. A lot of stuff was said, by Francis that really struck a chord with me, where you can really see, hey, this is a great young fighter and a great young man. And it's a guy that you can easily get behind and root for. So listen, follow his journey, man. Tap in with him. Francis Hogan, 20-0, 17 knockouts, currently fighting at middleweight and on his way to doing fucking great things in the sport. So now I'll get the pimp pan back out again and promote the podcast because it's feeling good. Make sure to tap into Off the Couch Boxing on Facebook. You'll get updates on new episodes when they're dropping, who will be on those episodes, and any other big pertinent boxing news. Folks, if it's popping off in the fight game, your boy Reckless Rexx has got you covered. You will be informed, whether it's big fight announcements, results, breakdowns, analysis, predictions, viral videos. If it pops up on my radar and it's big news in the boxing world, your boy Reckless Rexx has got you covered. It'll be up on the Facebook page. So tap in with us. Both my podcasts, updates and news on both of them are on one Facebook page, and that page is Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. So tap in with us there and tap in with us at Instagram. As I mentioned, trying to be more active on there, get videos out there, shorts, reels, whatever you kids call them nowadays, you wacky kids out there, man. I'm putting them up there, man. Snippets, poignant moments in these episodes. So check us out on Instagram, Off the Couch Boxing and Pod Scum. And of course, if you're here right now, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, make sure to smash that notification bell. And while you're here, go peruse the 290 plus episodes that we currently have. I say it all the time. There's something there for everybody. If you like conversations with the OGs and the legends of the sport, we got them. If you like conversations with the future rising stars and champions like Francis there, We got plenty of those, man. So dive on in, check them out, and you will understand why I make the claim that we are the undisputed, undefeated heavyweight champion of boxing podcast, which we are. And the good news is you too can be a champion. All you got to do is continue to stay tapped in with Off the Couch Boxing and continue to roll with the champs. Peace.